Did you know that a 1,000 square foot roof sheds about 600 gallons of water in just 1 inch of rain? In these training videos, brought to you by UTEP's Center for Environmental Resource Management, we'll show you how to build a water harvesting system that collects all that water running right off of your roof. Rainwater harvesting is an ancient alternative water supply that focuses on collecting water right where it falls. Instead of treating stormwater as a waste, rainwater harvesting turns it into a resource. This training covers installing active rainwater harvesting systems. We've broken the following video into 3 modules. First, we'll go over the site assessment and measurements you'll need to make to plan your active harvesting system. Second, we'll go over the installation of the gutter system. And third, we'll cover the steps needed to hook up your tanks. Additionally, as part of this training series, we've included a downloadable list of tools and materials for installing water harvesting systems on residential homes. Our goal with this training series is to walk you through everything you need to know to collect rain off the roof of your home. Thanks for joining us, and let's get started. To complete this project, you will need some of the following materials: a drill, some ladders, a saw, a measuring tape, some screws, a chalk line, a level, some heavy-duty scissors, a wheelbarrow, a pick, a tamper, a hammer, some primer and glue, some PVC pipe, some Teflon tape, gutters, a leaf filter, and food-grade water tanks. Note that you need to prime all PVC pieces before gluing. Module 1. Site Assessment and Measurements. The first step is to estimate the collection capacity at the home. It is recommended to have a capacity to collect about half of the annual rainfall. The next step is to measure your roof to know how big the catchment area is. Once you know how large the catchment area is, then you need to see how your roof slopes. Water on the roof may run from the middle of the house to the left or right. Roofs can have different slopes that will make the water run in different directions. How the water runs off the roof will determine how to prepare for the conveyance system that is discussed later. The next item is to see what size tank can be used and how many. Module 2. Conveyance System Gutter Installation. Next, we will demonstrate the installation that is an essential component in rainwater harvesting, the conveyance system. This system consists of downspouts and gutters needed to capture the rainfall that lands on the roof. A conveyance system will not only ensure that the rainfall will run smoothly from your roof into your tank, but also minimize the collection of debris. The most common material for gutters and downspouts are half-round PVC, vinyl, pipe, seamless aluminum, and galvanized steel. There are other necessary components you need to add to your downspout and gutters. These include mount hardware, such as brackets and straps, to fasten the gutter and downspout to the fascia or wall. You will also need a drill, ladder, and chalk line to complete the installation of the gutter system. To begin, measure the section of your roof you need to install gutters. This will give you an idea of how many gutter pieces to purchase. We recommend purchasing gutters that are at least 5 inches wide. To install the gutter, use a chalk line to make sure you have a nice clean line to follow. It is important to maintain adequate slope so that the rainwater shed towards your downspout and into your tank. To achieve this, measure 2 inches down from the highest point of your eaves but below the flashing and mark it. Then place one side of your chalk line on the highest point of your eaves right below the flashing, and the other end of the point you marked. This will give you a slope of 2 inches over the length of the gutters. Once you have a clean chalk line, you can begin placing the gutter hangers on your roof. These should be drilled about 3 feet apart from one another. Next, attach the gutters to the hangers and snap in place. Keep in mind that you might need expansion joints for the gutter pieces. Module 3. Installing tanks. The final module, we will walk you through the tank installation process. This involves positioning the tanks, connecting them to the guttering system, and getting them ready for use. Many tanks can be connected in series to increase the capacity of the system. They can be linked from the top or bottom with plastic PVC pipe. Make sure that there is enough space to walk around the tanks to check for leaks. The tanks should have tight lids or tops to prevent animals and pests like mosquitoes from getting inside. However, these need to be vented to prevent a vacuum from forming in the tank when large amounts of water are removed. The tanks can be vented by making a hole to the top of the tank and adding a vent cap to it that has mesh on it. Let us go over the materials you will need for this important part of the training video. First, you need the tanks themselves. Tanks come in different shapes and sizes. Purchase those that are best suited for your home. You will also need a downspout, which is a set of PVC pipes that connects to the leaf filter at the top and allow water to flow into the first flush device and the tank. You also need a leaf catcher that attaches to the top of your downspout. A leaf catcher collects leaves and other debris that flows off of your roof in a rainstorm while still allowing water to pass through it into your system. In addition, your system will require a first flush also made of PVC. The first flush device branches off of your downspout. Like the leaf filter, the first flush device is designed to keep your tanks clean. During the initial burst of a rainstorm, the water rushes down and washes dust, leaf, and bird droppings off of your roof and into your gutters and downspouts. The first flush device collects this dirty water and fills. This allows for the clean water to flow into your tank. The bottom of your first flush device should include a cap that can be unscrewed after each rain. This allows the homeowner to flush the dirty water after each rainstorm, aiding in restarting the process and maintaining a clean system. After you've installed the first flush, the remainder of the downspout plumbs directly into the tank. If the system is gravity fed, then you will need a spigot that is attached to the lower exterior of the tank. The spigot will make it easy to connect a hose to access the water inside. Finally, your rainwater harvesting system will require an overflow. The overflow is an outlet for the water that fills the tank. Without an overflow, the water can back up onto the gutter system, potentially causing damage to the gutters or home. An overflow connects close to the top of the tank and allows water to exit. Ideally, one should use the access to water plants, gardens, or trees. Leveling the area. Before getting into the process for connecting the tanks to the gutter, we will go over positioning and leveling the tank. Tanks go below the lowest point of the gutter system to collect water flowing off of the roof and down the gutters. First, you will want to get a sense of how the tank fits. Slide the tank into position. Make sure the top of the tank is below the eaves of the house and that it doesn't block gates or places where people walk or park their cars. Make sure that you can connect it with PVC pipes to the gutter system. It is important at this stage to think about where the leaf filter, downspout, first flush, and overflow will go. Next, you want to ensure the tank is on level ground. If the pad is not even, then the tank could settle to one side, causing damage in the future. Move the tank away from its eventual position and build a level pad. Remove any pointy rocks or objects that could puncture the tank. Use a shovel, rake, and gravel to make an even pad, checking with a level as you go. Once your pad is built and level, carefully position the tank on the pad. Make sure the tank is oriented so that it can connect to the downspout. Now you will measure and dry fit the leaf filter, downspout, and first flush. Do not glue the PVC pipes together until you have constructed the entire downspout system. Now, measure the horizontal distance from your elbow to the point where you want the water to flow into your tank. If the tank does not have an opening, use a hole saw to drill a hole into the side of the tank so that PVC can slide in. Other tanks have caps that can be removed and fittings for PVC parts, meaning you might not have to drill the hole. Cut a segment of PVC that spans the horizontal distance from the elbow to the tank. Make sure it lines up with the inflow point of your tank. Dry fit this PVC to the horizontal junction of your elbow and feed it into the tank. Next, the segment of downspout that goes from the top of the elbow up to the bottom of the gutters. Measure the distance between these 2 points, taking into account the leaf filter and cut. Once you are confident that the water will flow as intended and that everything is lined up, glue the entire system together. It is a good idea to start from the bottom up and gluing one piece at a time. Take care to orient the elbow so that the pipe goes in the correct direction into the tank. Next, put the proper fitting with the hose spigot to the bottom of the tank. Glue them together so they are tightly connected. If you are installing multiple tanks together, you will need to plumb these tanks as well. Make sure that your downspout system is fastened securely in place. Each configuration is slightly different depending on the site. Finally, install your tank's overflow device. The overflow should go near the top of the tank. Either cut a hole or unscrew a fitting that will allow water to flow out of the tank once it fills to that point. Connect PVC pipe to this hole and run it so that water will flow out and away from the house, preferably in a location that will water plants or trees. It is important to note that maintenance for the roof, gutter, and tank should be done every 6 months to prevent trash from getting into the tank. Chlorinating the water stored in the tank can prevent algae growth as well. Once your tanks are installed, double check all the connections to make sure they are lined up. Now, your installation is complete. Thank you for watching.